A unique camp meeting in Northern California engages the community in delightful and innovative ways. Hi, I'm Connie Vandeman Jeffrey, and this is All God's People. An estimated 1,000 people attended the 3-day Time to Engage urban camp meeting in Stockton, California, the weekend of June 20 through 22. And it really was all about engagement. The camp meeting focused on immigration and refugee ministries, with workshops focused on meeting immigrant needs and helpful training for people in transition, as well as innovative ways for providing immigrants with needed resources. A modern example of Christ's method. Right on schedule, the urban camp meeting said goodbye to Stockton, California, and next year will engage in a new place with another community. The goal of urban camp meeting is outreach. Every 2 years, it moves to a new city in the area. In the 2-year rotation, the first year's goal is to lay the groundwork for evangelism, while the second year places a strong emphasis on citywide evangelism. The June 2019 camp meeting was the second and final year in Stockton. The goal is to raise up 2 churches before moving on to Oakland, where next year's urban camp meeting will start its 2-year cycle. This unique Adventist gathering redefines camp meeting for new communities, new generations, and new circumstances. Have you ever wondered what the difference is between a will and a trust? Do you need a will but haven't gotten around to getting one done? Then you're not alone. Let's face it, end-of-life planning isn't fun. The topic can seem depressing, maybe even a little scary. But it's also a critical aspect of managing your assets and protecting your family, which is why it's surprising that nearly 6 out of 10 Americans are unprepared for the inevitable. A staggering 78% of millennials, ages 18 to 36, do not have a will. Even more surprising is that 64% of Generation X, ages 37 to 52, don't have a will. You are most likely to have one if you're over 72, but careful planning is vitally important at any age. While each local conference and institution of the Union has trust personnel who can help you, the Pacific Union has a specific ministry dedicated to assisting you in planned giving and trust services. Western Adventist Foundation, or WAF for short, was created and incorporated in 1997 and is an organization that can provide excellent services and support for all of our conferences, both large and small. Located in Scottsdale, Arizona, WAF's dedicated staff meets each Monday morning for worship and prays about the concerns and requests of the people they serve. So if you've been putting off getting your documents in order, if you want to provide for your family and find out more about how you can leave a legacy of generosity and love for spreading the gospel, visit the WAF website to learn more. It's easy to remember, wafsda.org. And if you're in the Southern California area next weekend, Richard Harrison, General Counsel and Corporate Secretary for Western Adventist Foundation, is presenting a seminar called Estate Planning Mistakes You Don't Want to Make on Sunday morning, July 21. Check our program bulletin for details. The July Recorder is in your homes, and we're so pleased that Elder Ricardo Graham stopped by our production studio to talk to you about it.
The artist's vision of He's Got the Whole World in His Hands on the cover of the July Recorder incorporates a very special photograph of Earth. It was taken recently by the Epic camera aboard the Discover satellite 1 million miles from Earth. It's amazing that we can now receive on a daily basis updated and high-resolution images of the entire Western Hemisphere in a single photograph. Wow! The July issue of the Recorder is on forgiveness and what it means to be restored to wholeness by God's grace. What does it mean to be ever and always safe in God's hands, despite our weaknesses, failures, or our sins? What does it mean to be forgiven, restored to the perfection that God envisions for each of us? It's always God's grace that prompts my most fervent wow. In Nehemiah chapter 1, we can read the prayer of a brave leader who called out in prayer for the restoration of God's people. While he could never imagine a picture of the earth from 1 million miles in space, he knew in his soul the very heart of forgiveness and the power that God has to restore. Now these are thy servants and thy people, whom thou hast redeemed by thy great power and by thy strong hand. We are indeed his people, redeemed by his great power, a world held safely in his hands.
Thank you, Elder Graham. And thank you for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you back here next week on All God's People.